Rain fell hard on the cold streets of the city. People rushed past each other, umbrellas up, heads down. No one had time to stop. Everyone was too busy, too wet, or too tired. But one man did stop. His name was Ben. He worked late at a small repair shop and was now walking home, his jacket soaked. As he passed a dark alley between two buildings, he heard something strange. Crying. Not normal crying. It was soft, trembling, and filled with pain. He froze and looked into the alley. A figure sat, curled up on the ground. She was shaking. Her arms were wrapped around her chest. Her body was thin, her clothes torn, and her skin was not human. She was an alien woman, and she was crying. Ben stepped closer slowly. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, unsure if she could understand him. The alien woman looked up. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Her face was wet from both rain and tears. "Please, help," she whispered in broken English. Ben knelt down beside her. "What happened?" She pointed toward the street, her hand trembling. "My daughter, Tila, small. She run. I lost her." Ben's heart sank. A child was missing. In this city. At night. In the rain. "How old is she?" he asked. The woman held up 5 fingers. "She, small. Afraid of loud." Ben looked around. People kept walking past. No one even glanced their way. "Do you have a phone?" he asked. She shook her head quickly. "No phone. No. No house. Do you know where you last saw her?" The alien woman pointed toward a nearby bus stop. "There, she ran. Many humans. Too loud. She run into street." Ben stood up. "Okay, come with me. We'll look for her together." The woman hesitated. She looked scared. Weak. Ben took off his jacket and placed it around her shoulders. "You can trust me," he said gently. Her eyes met his, and slowly, she nodded. Ben led her to a nearby diner, small, quiet, and warm. The owner, Mrs. Harper, raised an eyebrow when she saw the soaking pair walk in. "She's lost her kid," Ben explained quickly. "Can I get her a towel and something warm?" Mrs. Harper nodded. "Of course." Soon the alien woman sat wrapped in a blanket, a warm cup of soup in her hands. Ben sat across from her. "What's your name?" he asked softly. She looked down. "My name is Lyra." He smiled kindly. "Lyra, okay, Lyra, I'm Ben. Tila is all I have," she said, voice shaking. "We come here for safety, but humans stare. Tila gets scared. She hide. I try to find her, but she disappear." Ben could see the pain in her eyes, the fear of a mother who had lost everything. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll find her." Lyra stared at him for a long moment. Then, for the first time, she whispered, "Thank you." Ben. Outside, the rain was lighter now. The streets were still wet, but the air was calmer. Ben and Lyra began walking toward the last place she saw Tila. Lyra clutched his arm tightly, her eyes searching every shadow, every corner. Suddenly she gasped and ran ahead. On the sidewalk near, a trash bin, a small glowing object lay in the puddle. Ben picked it up. It was a toy. Half broken but clearly alien, shaped like a tiny star with lights that blinked softly. "Tila's," Lyra said, her voice breaking. Ben looked around. There were small footprints in the wet street, leading into the darker part of the alleyways. "Come on," he said. They followed the trail into the deeper part of the city. Neon signs flickered. Stray cats watched them. A passing car splashed water at their feet, but they kept going. Lyra's hope was fragile, but growing. Ben paused and pointed. "Look, more prints. She went this way." They turned down another alley, but at the end, nothing, just silence. Ben frowned. She must have kept moving. Then Lyra whispered, "Wait." She crouched down and touched the ground. There, barely. Visible in the corner was a tiny handprint, half faded, but real. "Tila was here," she whispered. Ben stood tall. We're close. Ben held the small broken toy tightly in his hand. It blinked softly, casting a blue light on his palm. Lyra stared at it like it was the only thing holding her together. This, her favorite, she said in a trembling voice. She not sleep without it. Rain continued to fall lightly, soaking the streets and blurring the small footprints that trailed away from the toy. Ben looked ahead, trying to trace the direction. We have to move fast, he said, before the rain washes the tracks away. Lyra nodded, pulling the blanket tighter around her shoulders. Her steps were shaky, but her eyes were sharp now. She was a mother, and her child was out there somewhere in the dark. They followed. The fading prints into a back alley filled with trash bins and water puddles. Neon lights from far buildings reflected on the wet ground. The footprints were small and spaced close together, like a child walking fast but afraid to run. She was scared, Ben said quietly. She didn't know where to go. Humans, yell, Lyra replied softly. Too loud, she not understand. They turned a corner and found a wall with strange markings, alien symbols scratched in the dirt. Lyra gasped and knelt beside it. Her hands touched the marks like they were sacred. She made this, she said. She was trying to tell me she's okay. Ben crouched beside her. What does it say? Lyra slowly translated. I run, I hide, I wait. I love you, Mama. Ben's heart ached. She's so young, but so smart, he said. Yes, Lyra whispered with tears in her eyes. She always draw when she's scared. As they moved further into the alley, a sound echoed from the next block, a loud clang. Lyra flinched and grabbed Ben's arm. What that? Ben turned toward the sound. Stay close. They moved slowly until they reached an old, rusty metal fence. On the other side was an abandoned playground. One swing creaked in the wind, but something else moved near the slide. A shadow. Small, crouched. Ben raised his hand to stop Lyra. Wait. I see something. He stepped quietly to the fence, eyes locked on the figure. The shadow moved again. Then a small voice called out, barely a whisper. Mama. Lyra's eyes widened. Tila. The shadow jumped back, startled. Then it ran. No, Lyra cried, rushing to the fence, but the gate was locked with a heavy chain. Tila, wait. Ben called out. We're not here to hurt you. But the little figure was gone, vanished into another alley beyond the park. Ben shook the gate. It didn't budge. Lyra sank to her knees, sobbing. She afraid. She run again. She think humans hurt. Ben placed a hand on her shoulder. No. She knows you're looking. She called for you. Lyra nodded, wiping her tears. She's close. Ben looked around. We'll go around the block. She couldn't have gone far. They circled the playground through broken sidewalks and past empty buildings. Trash flew in the wind. A stray dog barked in the distance. Then Ben saw something on the wall near a dumpster, a glowing handprint. Small, faint. It's her, he said. Lyra rushed forward. Yes, she used glow dust on fingers. She marked places she go. Ben nodded. She's leaving a path we can follow. Lyra looked at him with new hope. You good human, she said. Others look away. You help. Ben gave her a gentle smile. We'll find her, I promise. Just as they turned into the next alley, a voice echoed, but not a child's voice, a man's voice, rough, deep. Hey, what you doing here? Ben stopped. A tall man stepped out from behind a van. He looked at them with narrow eyes and held something behind his back. Then Ben saw it, Tila's scarf, clutched in the man's hand. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. Tila, she whispered. Ben's jaw tightened. Something wasn't right. And now, they weren't alone. Ben took a step forward, eyes locked on the tall man blocking the alley. The man grinned, but there was no kindness in it. Looking for someone? He asked, raising the scarf. Lyra gasped. That's Tila's. The man twirled it in his fingers, then stuffed it in his coat. Little alien girl dropped it, ran right past me crying. Poor thing didn't even say thank you. Where is she? Ben asked firmly. The man shrugged. I might tell you, or maybe not. Ben could feel the tension rise. The man was playing games. Lyra clutched Ben's arm tightly. He saw her. Maybe he took her. Ben stepped forward. Look, we don't want trouble. Just tell us where she went. The man's smile faded. His voice turned cold. And if I don't? What are you going to do? Ben's hands clenched into fists. Then I'll search every inch of this alley, and I'll start with you. The man's eyes narrowed. But before he could speak, a soft sound echoed behind him. A whisper. A small breath. From the shadows, two glowing eyes peeked out from behind a trash bin. Ben saw them first. Lyra, he whispered. Don't move. She's watching us. Lyra turned her head slowly, and her eyes filled with tears. It was Tila, dirty, soaked, hiding, but alive. The man hadn't noticed her. Not yet. Ben knew they had seconds, maybe less. Listen, Ben said to the man, trying to distract him. You don't have to do this, you're scaring her. Scaring who? The man asked, frowning. Ben took a step to the left, blocking the man's view. Let's talk. Just you and me. Behind them, Tila took a careful step out from the shadows. Lyra's lips trembled. She dared not call out. Tila's little feet moved slowly. Her hands reached out. And then, a loud crash. The man turned sharply. Tila froze, caught in the open. There she is, he shouted. Lyra screamed, rushing forward. Tila! The man grabbed Lyra's arm. Not so fast, alien. Ben didn't hesitate. He slammed into the man's chest, knocking him back. They fell to the ground with a thud. Run! Ben shouted. Lyra scooped Tila into her arms and darted away. The man struggled, swinging wildly, but Ben dodged and punched him again. Stay down, Ben growled. The man groaned and didn't get back up. Ben ran after Lyra. They met again at the end of the alley, breathless. Tila was clinging to her mother, crying softly. Mama, I'm sorry. I ran. I was scared. Lyra held her close. No, baby. You safe now? You so brave. Ben smiled as he watched them. Tila turned to him with wide, glowing eyes. You're not scary, she said. Ben knelt down. No, little one. I'm your friend. Tila reached out and touched his hand. It was cold and small, but full of trust. They found shelter in an old parking garage nearby. Quiet, empty. Lyra wrapped Tila in the blanket. Ben found some dry boxes to sit on. The rain outside grew heavier again. Ben looked at them both. What will you do now? He asked. Lyra looked at her child, then back at Ben. We don't have home. We ran from war. Came here for peace. But no one wants us. Ben nodded slowly. But you helped us, she added. Why? Ben shrugged. Because you needed help. Lyra tilted her head. Humans fear us. Some do, Ben replied. But not all. Tila looked up. Can we stay with you? Ben blinked. He hadn't thought that far. But deep inside, he already knew the answer. He smiled. Yeah, you can stay. Ben pushed open the door of his small workshop. It was quiet, warm, and smelled like old metal and oil. The lights flickered for a second before staying on. Welcome to my home, he said softly. Lyra stepped in carefully, holding Tila close. The little alien girl looked around with wide, curious eyes. She had never seen a place like this. Walls lined with tools, shelves filled with strange machines, and a soft couch in the corner with a wool blanket. Tila pointed at a robot leg sitting on the table. Is that a pet? Ben laughed. No, that's a broken walking drone, but if you like, I can make one that acts like a pet. Lyra smiled faintly for the first time since they met. You fix things? Ben nodded. I fix broken machines. Sometimes broken people, too. Lyra's smile faded slightly as she whispered, "We are very broken." Ben looked at her seriously. "Then this is the right place." Tila sat on the couch, wrapped in a soft blanket while Ben made warm tea from herbs. Lyra sat nearby, her hands never leaving her child's shoulders. For a while no one spoke. The silence felt safe. Then Tila broke it. "Why you help us?" she asked Ben again, this time with more strength in her voice. Ben paused. "Because someone helped me once, when I was lost." Lyra tilted her head. "Another alien?" "No," Ben said. "A kind old man. He gave me a second chance. I want to do the same." Tila nodded like she understood something important. "You're a good human," she said. Ben smiled. "Thank you, little one." That night, Ben set up a sleeping corner for them. He gave Lyra a clean coat and stitched up a hole in Tila's blanket. He boiled water and gave them soap to wash their hands and faces. They were quiet, almost shy, like they didn't believe this peace would last. But Ben treated them gently. No loud noises, no fast movements, just calm, slow care. He knew they had been through something terrible. Later, Lyra helped wash the dishes with warm water. She stood beside Ben in silence for a while before speaking. "Many humans chase us," she said. "Say we are illegal. Say we don't belong." Ben wiped a cup and set it down. "You belong here, with me, for as long as you want." She looked at him carefully. "Why?" Ben looked at her too. "Because your daughter laughed tonight. That laugh means she feels safe. That's worth everything." Lyra didn't say anything, but her eyes became shiny again, not with fear, this time, with quiet thanks. In the middle of the night, Ben woke to a sound, a soft whimper. He got up and walked quietly to the couch. Tila was crying in her sleep. Nightmare. Lyra was already there, sitting beside her, rubbing her back. "She remembers bad things," Lyra whispered. "Hiding in boxes, hearing humans shout." Ben crouched down. "Do you want me to make something that helps her sleep?" Lyra nodded. "What?" Ben thought. "A nightlight, or a small music box. Something she can hold. Something that sings." Lyra touched his arm. "You fix hearts too." Ben smiled gently. "Only the small ones." The next morning, Ben gave Tila a small, soft cube that blinked with light and played a calm humming tune. Her eyes lit up with wonder. "It sings to me," she said happily. Lyra wrapped her arms around Ben suddenly. Her voice was low but full of meaning. "No one ever did this for us," she whispered. "You changed everything." Ben stood there for a second, then gently hugged her back. "I just gave you what you deserved all along." But just outside the city, someone else was looking for them. Someone not kind. A tall alien man dressed in black armor stepped out of a dark ship and held up a photo of Tila and Lyra. "They were seen in this area," he said to the officers. "If they're still alive," one officer replied. "We'll find them." The man growled, "I will find them, and the human who took them in." The morning started quietly. Ben was showing Tila how to use a screwdriver on an old music box. She sat cross-legged on the floor, her small hands careful and curious. Lyra watched from nearby, folding clean towels with a soft smile. But peace was short. A black ship landed just outside the city. The tracker had arrived. Tall, armored, with glowing red eyes and a scar running across his face, the alien bounty hunter stepped onto the street. He carried no kindness, only a name. Lyra, and a photo of a child. Tila. At Ben's workshop, a soft alarm blinked on the wall. It was an old system he built to alert him if anyone approached from the forest side. Ben frowned. "That's strange. No one comes from that path." He stood up and walked to the window. There, far in the distance, a shadow moved between trees. Big, heavy, not human. Ben's heart tightened. He turned to Lyra. Take Tila inside. Now. Lyra didn't ask questions. She trusted him. The tracker reached the edge of the clearing. His helmet scanned the area. A heat signature. 3 warm bodies. 1 adult male. 1 alien female. 1 small child. He stepped forward. Inside, Ben opened a secret floor hatch. You need to hide, he said. Lyra's eyes widened. Who is it? Someone who isn't here to help. Tila clutched her mother. I'm scared. Ben knelt beside her. It's okay. I won't let anyone hurt you. He helped them into the hidden space and closed the hatch. Then he turned and picked up a wrench and waited. The door burst open. The tracker stepped inside, scanning every corner. You're the human who helped them. Ben didn't flinch. Maybe. They're illegal. I've been paid to take them back. Ben didn't move from the middle of the room. Back to what? A cage? Death? They are not yours to protect. Ben stepped forward. That little girl is safer here than she's ever been. The tracker's red eyes narrowed. Then I will remove you first. The tracker swung a metal staff at Ben. Ben ducked, grabbed a stool, threw it. The tracker blocked it easily. Ben ran behind the workbench and pressed a hidden button. Sparks exploded from the walls, blinding the tracker for a second. Ben grabbed a heavy pipe and struck him from the side. The tracker staggered but didn't fall. He roared and knocked Ben across the table. Blood dripped from Ben's lip. You fight hard, the tracker said. For aliens. Ben stood again, eyes burning. I fight for family. Suddenly a sound. A soft humming tune. From the floor. The hatch had opened. Tila's nightlight had rolled out. The tracker turned sharply. Too late. Lyra flew out from the hidden space, slamming a wrench into the tracker's knee. He fell to one side with a grunt. Ben tackled him fully this time. Together, Ben and Lyra pushed the tracker back toward the door. Ben reached for a rope, pulled a lever. A large magnet dropped from the ceiling. Clang! The tracker's metal armor locked onto it. He was stuck, screaming, fighting, but trapped. Ben dropped to one knee, breathing hard. Lyra knelt beside him. You okay? He nodded. I will be. Tila ran to them. You saved us. Ben smiled, wiping the blood from his chin. Teamwork. Later that night, the authorities arrived. Ben had made the call once the tracker was secured. A kind officer stepped into the room. We checked the records, she told Ben. Lyra and her daughter, they qualify for protection. Lyra held. Tila closed, tears in her eyes. No more running? The officer smiled. Not anymore, you're safe here now. Ben looked at both of them, heart full. Home had been a lonely place for a long time, but now it was full of life. The cabin was quiet again, but this time the silence didn't feel empty. It felt peaceful. Tila lay curled in a blanket near the fire, her little hands holding the soft, glowing cube Ben had made. Her breathing was steady, calm. She looked like any child, safe, loved, and warm. Lyra stood at the window, watching snowflakes fall slowly outside. It's beautiful, she whispered. Ben walked up beside her, holding 2 mugs of hot tea. It is, but it was never beautiful until you both came here. Lyra glanced at him. Her eyes were softer now. We didn't mean to take your life and change it. Ben smiled. You didn't take anything. You gave it meaning. The next morning, an officer returned with papers. You'll need names for the record, she said gently. Human names if you want. Lyra hesitated. We never had real names. Not on this planet. We were just called cargo. Ben felt his chest tighten. He looked at the little girl and asked softly, What name do you like, Tila? Tila blinked. She pointed at her music cube. Luna, that was the song it played. I like Luna. The officer smiled. Luna it is. Then she turned to Lyra. And you? Lyra looked at Ben, then at her daughter. Then she said quietly, Hope. Ben smiled wider. That fits. For the first time they had names, not numbers, not labels, real names, a real identity. Ben began helping Lyra and Luna adjust to their new life. He showed Luna how to clean parts, how to fit wires, how to fix broken toys. She laughed often now. Her laugh echoed through the cabin like sunlight through trees. And Lyra, she started painting. She used old scrap wood and leftover paint to create pictures of stars, skies, and warm homes. Ben hung every painting on the cabin walls. This place feels alive, he said one evening. Lyra turned to him, her hands stained with color. So do we, but not everything outside was safe. News traveled. The captured tracker had a communicator on him. And someone, somewhere far away, received a message before he was caught. A message with coordinates. Someone was still watching. One morning, Ben returned from town with supplies. As he opened the cabin door, Luna ran up to him. Papa! He stopped, surprised. Luna blinked. Can I call you that? Ben knelt, heart full. You can call me anything, Luna. She hugged him tightly. Lyra watched from the doorway, her eyes full of silent emotion. She didn't speak. But her smile said everything. That night, as the fire crackled, Lyra sat close beside Ben. You could have walked away from us, she said. You didn't have to fight or care. Ben looked at her. Everyone deserves to feel safe. Everyone deserves a home. She reached out, took his hand slowly. This home, it's not just yours anymore. Ben squeezed her hand. It's ours now. But far in the stars a ship stirred, dark, silent. Its scanners locked on Earth. A blinking dot appeared on a screen. Ben's cabin. A voice growled from the shadows. She survived? Another voice answered coldly. And worse, she was loved. Ben stood on the porch, sipping his coffee as the morning sun broke through the clouds. The mountain air was fresh. Birds chirped. Inside the cabin, Luna giggled as she colored a star with glowing pens. Lyra hummed softly, washing dishes by the window. Everything felt perfect, but peace doesn't last forever. Far above Earth, someone was coming. At the edge of the sky, a black shape cut through the clouds. Silent, fast, deadly. It wasn't a ship from Earth, it was something worse. A collector, designed for one thing, retrieval. And it had found the signal left by the tracker Ben had defeated. The collector's orders were clear: recover the escaped assets, alive or not. Inside the cabin, Ben felt something strange. A low vibration in the floor. The wind outside fell still. He stepped out again and froze. A strange light flickered above the trees. Then a piercing scream shattered the silence. Lyra's. He rushed inside. She was clutching Luna, her eyes wide with terror. They found us. I know that sound. I've heard it before when they took my sister. Ben didn't ask questions. He grabbed a bag from behind the wall, tools, parts, energy cells. Then he looked at them. We run. Now. They moved fast. Through the back trail, deeper into the forest. But the collector was faster. It cut through trees like paper, searching, scanning. Luna tripped. Lyra caught her. Ben turned to face the growing hum behind them, and then metal arms burst from the brush. The collector landed with a loud boom, steam rising off its legs. Its red lens glowed. Ben stepped forward. Lyra screamed, "No!" But Ben didn't stop. He looked the machine straight in its eye. "You're not taking them." The machine spoke in a cold voice. "The property must be returned." Ben reached into his bag and threw a charged engine coil. Boom! Sparks flew. The collector staggered back. "Run!" he yelled. Lyra and Luna kept moving while Ben stayed. He fought with everything: tools, wires, fire. The forest lit up with blue sparks, but he couldn't stop it alone. Then, just as the collector raised a blade, Something flew from the sky. A government drone, and behind it, more ships marked with the Earth Protection Corps. The officer from earlier had been watching. She had sent help. Laser fire lit the sky. Ben dropped to the ground as the collector exploded in flames. Later, in the same forest clearing, the officer approached them. "It's over," she said. "The signal is gone. No one will come again." Ben looked at Lyra and Luna, but Lyra didn't speak. She was kneeling beside Ben, wiping blood from his forehead. "You nearly died." He gave her a tired smile. "Was worth it." Luna leaned into him. "You didn't let them take me." Ben wrapped an arm around both of them. "Never." Back at the cabin, repairs were made. The roof was patched, the walls repainted. A new door was carved. Above it, a sign was placed, one Lyra had painted herself. "Home of Luna, Hope, and Ben." People from town started visiting. They brought food, clothes, tools. Lyra made tea. Luna danced on the porch. Ben worked on small machines again. One night, under the stars, Lyra stood beside Ben and said softly, "I think I'd like to stay forever." Ben looked at her and smiled. "You already have."